Howdy y'all, it's Cody from the Keepers of Nerdom. How y'all doing? Yeah, just wanted to talk through the recent episode of Loki. I think it's episode 4. That sounds right. Yeah, that sounds right. Go through, there's spoilers obviously in this because clearly it's a spoiler-filled thing because otherwise there's not a whole lot to talk about. First initial impressions, it's both a really interesting episode and yet not interesting at all. There's a lot of times where it's just nothing happens, and then randomly things will ramp up to 11 for a bit. It almost strikes me that Loki season 2 is on a very small budget comparatively to the first season. And that's funny because they still go to some of these places, and it's almost like they're reusing some of the stuff that they already had, but it seems like they use a lot of the same areas pretty frequently. And yet, and I say that, and that's what's weird, it's like, it feels like a low budget at times, but then it will randomly go, here's this epic time thing that's all CGI, and it looks amazing. It's so bizarre to me, and I don't know. I don't know how to best explain that. And let me know in the comments below if you feel that too, and if you could actually explain it better, because I don't know. Yeah, very interesting, right? Overall, yeah, I think it was a positive episode. Let's kind of go through what's going on there, right? Now, here's the spoilers. So, they get Victor Timely back to the TVA, and they're working with Ouroboros, and apparently Ouroboros learned all he learned from Victor Timely, and yet Victor Timely got all he learned from Ouroboros' manual. And so it's like, and Ouroboros makes a mention of, like, it's like a snake eating its own tail. And you're like, yes, so we're now in the realm of parodying ourselves, right? It's interesting. Very interesting because Renslayer gets in there with Miss Minutes, she starts taking over everything, and she is quite persuasively, interestingly crazy. So she's a strong character, Miss Minutes. I don't know how to feel about her now, because it's like, what's her motivation? Because obviously in the last episode she was motivated by this desire of love me, but it's like we've not seen any of that indication, and then all of a sudden this is like a focal point of the show. Renslayer is very much into, I just want to rule with Kang, who apparently, he who remains, whenever everything went bad, there's this like whole thing. I was speculating maybe Renslayer was actually like a female Kang, and I was incorrect there, which that's fine, it's whatever, but it was rather interesting to note that. Yeah, just that she was actually someone that had helped Kang conquer, He Who Remains, conquer all this stuff and win the war, and then set up the TVA, and he sends her to go work the TVA, and then he erases all of their memories so that way they are just there and they work essentially for him and they don't remember who they are. It's kind of messed up, you know. It's sad because it does tell you like there is some serious problems here in this world, and rightfully so, that they would be really upset if they learned who they really were. But it is kind of a funny thing that Owen Wilson's character is just still trying to just go, I don't want to know or understand who I was in the past. That some people just turn a blind eye to that. But as Miss Minute starts taking over things in the TVA, Renslayer breaks into where the people that were destroying all the timelines are being held, and lo and behold, she tries to offer them to come work with her, and the only one that takes her up for it is the guy that was living out as an actor in the real world, right? And he takes her up on it, and then she like crushes everybody. And this was kind of where it got weird, because it was like they showed the effect of the box thing, but they never like stopped and really showed the rest of it, because they showed it, they didn't show it, they just went off screen and was just like, yeah, that's happened. and that's all we get. And it was just frustrating. Like, they didn't show any of it, and it's Disney, and they're not going to show people getting, like, crushed. But at the same time, it's like, we kind of need to know how serious this is, because you have the TVA agent that's quote-unquote good reacting to it, and that's all we get, her face reacting to it, and that's it. Like, that's our understanding of this whole thing, and that's all we have. Just kind of lame. And then the show kind of just slows down, it feels like, because they're constantly trying to build this device, Ouroboros and Victor Timely, and then when they go to do that, it's just slow. Like, nothing's happening. It's very, very weird. And then Owen Wilson shows back up with hot cocoa, and all of a sudden that's like this major focus thing, and it's really just plot. I mean, it is literally like plot contrivance to get Victor Timely somewhere that Renslayer can kidnap them, and it's just super weird. Super, super weird. And Victor Timely is super awkward. I don't know why everybody's like so sold on Jonathan Majors, because the things, honestly, that he does at times don't work. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of him at times. Like, there's parts of it that have been really interesting, but then his actions at times just don't add up with what we're seeing as well. So then, or his words or his actions, behavior stuff, it just feels out of place at times. Very odd. Anyway, yeah, so Renslayer gets a hold of him, and everything's going towards them, and then somehow they're able to lock out Miss Minutes and reset her, and she's like gets shut down to basic mode at best. So nothing really happens with her, and it's super weird and crazy. And then, wow, what else to say on that? Man. They rescue Victor Timely by having access to the computer somehow, because somehow they can beat out Miss Minutes, who's an artificial intelligence that has all the power over everything. Doesn't make any sense, but whatever. Right? That they can beat her, because I would think she would have way more control and power over all of it than any of them. And they get to use their magic, because they shut down that ability as well. And then Loki and, not Loki, but Loki, girl Loki, right? They use all their magic to turn the one guy that went on the Renslayer's side onto theirs, and he, like, what do they call it when they touch him with the stick thing that, like, purges them out of the timeline? I can't remember. But he deletes Renslayer, and then they rescue Victor Timely, and then they let that guy go, which is a major mistake. Major mistake, side note, because he's gonna come back to bite them in the end somehow. But anyway, there's that. And then what else do we say on that one? They get Victor Timely, they're ready to go in the time thing, and Victor volunteers himself to go in instead of Loki. And the moment he steps into the time area, because they've been telling how dangerous it is, he literally does like the ribbon effect that Mr. Fantastic did from the Doctor Strange 2 movie. And he's gone. And that was really fascinating, because I was not expecting that. And Victor Timely just is gone. Just dies. Gone. Over. And so, yeah, we have this just weird spot of like, well, now what? And I think that was an interesting spot, and that's kind of where the episode ended from what I remember. I'm just going, okay, now what? And the answer is not very clear of, what are they going to do now? Because now everything's up a creek, right? Because nothing's working. So yeah, overall, not a bad episode. It's just really slow, and there was a few spots where things didn't quite add up. That's where it gets a little weird. But yeah, let me know down in the comments below what you think. And like, share, and subscribe, y'all. Thank you, and have fun. All right. Bye.